Welcome back, Fanflix fans. We're about to take another hit of that Netflix. Today we're going to talk about The Colony, which is a thriller on Netflix that stars Nora Arnester, who plays Blake, and Lane Glenn. By the way, this is not a race joke, but doesn't Lane look like a bona fide villain? I swear, the moment I saw him, I was like, yep, he's the bad guy. And needless to say, I was correct. While watching the movie, everything inside me was begging the directors not to go the direction that I thought they were going to go. But sadly, they did. Well, in today's video, I'm going to recap The Colony and seek to explain why I believe Blake made the wrong decision and that Gibson was correct. Please make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. It shows me that you like this type of content. Also know that I'm going to spoil the heck out this movie, so you've been warned. After surviving 2 generations on Kepler 209, astronauts are sent back to the Earth. The first mission, Ulysses, failed shortly after landing. Another group of astronauts were sent back for a second mission, back to Earth, the Ulysses 2. This space shuttle contained a bunch of elite astronauts, Blake, Tucker, and Holden, and they all experience a malfunction while entering the Earth's atmosphere. Astronaut Holden gets killed in the crossover. Fortunately, Blake and Tucker successfully hit the ground in their space pod due to the crash landing. I've been happy as I don't know what. Tucker develops severe near injuries and Blake takes charge of command. Blake moves out the pod to initiate the first recon. Mistake number 1. But I don't know about y'all, but if I'm in a location and I don't know where I'm landing or what's going on, you and I are at the hip. You ain't going nowheres until I can survey the area and make sure that I know how to protect myself. One of my mans just died and now we're thinking about trying to go back outside into the water to explore something that I don't know. Come on, you got me messed up. What's happening overall is that the Kepler 209 has a bunch of inhabitants and they're unable to produce or reproduce children. This is happening as a direct result of the radiation that they've been exposed to. So Blake moves out to the pod to initiate the first recon. Their sole purpose is to check their fertility, which got depleted on Kepler due to excessive radiation. Blake tests her fertility but gets negative results. She decides to walk back to the pod, but suddenly some mass survivors from the planet attack Tucker and Blake. These survivors are called Mud People. Destroy the space pod and take astronauts captive. Tucker dies due to excessive blood loss, leaving Blake alone to carry out the mission. This is where Blake meets Narvik, who is operating as the leader of the Mud People. Fast forward into the episode, a militant group attacks the tribe, assimilating several and kidnapping a few, including Mela. Mela currently holds the biometer that was separated from Blake. The militants transport the group to an abandoned ship that also serves as their colony. Pei Ling serves as like the second in command and recognizes that Blake is an inhabitant of Kepler 209. He takes her to Gibson, a fellow passenger on Ulysses 1 with Blake's father. There are still survivors from the first mission, so it isn't entirely a failure. Gibson is urged by Blake to locate the biometer, and it is their only hope of survival. Gibson explains what happened with the uprising of the people and her father led to the revolt. Later we notice that the radiation has shivered from Blake's body when her menstrual cycle begins in Gibson's ship. By the way, Blake also proceeds to have a conversation with the father and have a conversation about why he decided to support in the revolution against the inhabitants or the people. Essentially what he believes is that the people of Kepler 209 don't deserve the opportunity to come back to Earth. All I kept thinking to myself is, yo, the level of disrespect. Like, these are your people. Later in the movie, Narvik, Mela's mother, later breaks into the ship in order to reclaim her daughter. Blake gradually sees the flaws in Gibson's militant behavior and began to rebel. They captured Narvik, and upon realizing that Gibson intends to kill her in the morning, Blake orchestrates a plan to kidnap Narvik and save Mela from Gibson. Neil, on the other hand, discovers a device buried in the back of Mela's doll shortly after they leave. Blake frees Narvik and goes to confront Gibson, at which point they stop him from transmitting the sample, thus communicating with Kepler. Now, part of the issue with Blake's decision is that she is basing her decision based on how she feels about Gibson rather than what's the right thing to do, but his decision was actually correct. Here are the facts. By deciding not to communicate with the Kepler, then she's basically forfeiting the last bit of humanity on Kepler from being able to reproduce and or help to reproduce. The second point is that her entire mission was based on whether or not if the environment on Earth was capable of helping families and the people of Kepler to reproduce. Her people died, Tucker died, all for the sake of this mission. And within a span of like 24 to 48 hours and a kid named Mela, she decides to forfeit the entire mission. Mind you, I get it. Gibson was straight up messed up, but it doesn't change the fact that the people of Kepler 209 deserve the right to be able to know that this planet provides them the opportunity to reproduce and continue with their lineage. The second point is that their entire mission was based on whether or not if the environment on Earth was capable of helping the families on Kepler. Blake and her father were playing God and thus sacrificing the people that they spent their entire lives with. This was just basically wrong. And I get it, they're trying to create a spin and some type of conflict in the story, but you know what, to be honest, this didn't deserve a conflict. The right conflict was bring the people home, reproduce the Earth, and let's continue with the line. And I get it, some people don't deserve it, but you telling me every single person on Kepler-209 doesn't deserve the right to know that if they come back to Earth, their natural home planet, that they can reproduce? Man, oh man. Anyway, what are your thoughts about this movie? Please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe and write your ideas in chat, and thanks for watching.